Well, we're going a long way back in time and around halfway around the world now. In the field of classics, that is the study of ancient Greece and Rome, heroes are kind of our thing. Heracles, known to the Romans as Hercules, is one of the big ones, and you can see him here deploying all his technical expertise in wrestling to defeat the Nemean lion despite its invulnerable hide. As a side quest, he thereby founded the Nemean Games, one of the 3 pan-Hellenic athletic festivals that enjoyed similar, if not equal, stature to the Olympics. The connection between athletics and heroes goes way back to the 2 oldest works in the Western literary canon, Homer's Iliad and Odyssey. Both were committed to the page around the 8th or 7th centuries BCE, but represented an oral tradition, older perhaps by as much as 1,000 years. By throwing the discus, Odysseus proves the superiority of the Greek elite, all the heroes, to the soft Phaeacian ball players and dancers. The final combats of the Iliad take place on the running track and the wrestling ground. And we find in these Homeric events the bones of the classical Olympic program: chariot race, sprint, wrestling, boxing, discus, javelin. Perhaps most tellingly, in Iliad 7, champions from either side are chosen for a single combat, not to settle the war, but to give the crowds of ordinary soldiers respite and entertainment. The duel is brought to a halt as the light fades and they exchange gifts as prizes. In the earliest stages of classical Greek culture, let's say the 7th to early 5th centuries, the so-called Archaic Age, the hero became not simply the best man, but the object of religious cult, a talisman whose statue could heal and possession of whose relics could decide a territorial conflict. And like Shane and other heroes of early Westerns, he never lost the essential otherness or outsider quality we can identify in the names of the greatest heroes. Odysseus and Achilles are both named as men of pain. Cleomedes of Astipalaia in 492 BCE, we are told, killed his opponent in a boxing match, but also cheated and had his title retracted, not for the killing, just for the cheating. He went mad with pique and killed 60 children in a school at home, then mystically disappeared when the oracle at Delphi instructed his people to worship him as the last of the heroes. That apparently made perfect sense to them. Athletic heroes, of course, are nothing strange to us. I had a poster of Formula One champion James Hunt on my wall as a kid. And I suppose, like most others, my hero represented my aspirations, not only to physical prowess, but also to social and financial success. I now ask my students what it is they admire about their athletic heroes. And their answers, diverse to be sure, are equal part admiration for exceptional performance, both mental and physical, simply being the best, or what the Greeks called arete. But in addition to that, despite what Charles Barkley famously claimed, they admire their hero's ability to model social virtues, grace under pressure, humility, and to use their platform for good. I suspect if I had been born later, Olympic rugby medalist Ilona Maher would have found her place on my wall. This role model category is on the face of it absent from the Greek ideal of an athletic hero. Almost by definition, the Greek hero is beyond emulation. Citizens of the polis demonstrate their qualities via moderation, cooperation, and self-control, virtues that come to be central to the social tensions generated by the spread of democracy in the 5th century. But I want to suggest today that the Greeks did manage to celebrate individual brilliance in a way that connects rather than separates. To explain this, I want to focus on the role and representation of the charioteer. Yes, that's the Formula One driver of the ancient world. The charioteer stands alone among ancient athletes in that he is but a proxy for the owner of the chariot team. It is the owner who wins a race, the owner who might be commemorated by a Pindaric victory ode. More than this, the charioteer might be either enslaved or working for hire, both of which place him firmly outside the heroic value system where great feats are rewarded with reciprocal gifts and athletic victory only with a wreath. And yet, in two of our most remarkable examples of classical sculpture, one from Delphi and one from Sicily, the artist and purchaser chose to focus skill and expense on precisely that figure. We start not with the driver, but with the chariot team itself, in a sense. This 6th century BCE pair of athletic victors, dedicated at Delphi, commemorates a story reported for us by Herodotus in the late 5th century. When the oxen of brothers Cleobis and Biton are late from the field, they yoke themselves to the cart to take their mother to a festival of Hera. Their reward for this heroic feat is to fall asleep in the sanctuary and never wake up again. Self-sacrifice, then, heroic humility, taking on the role of the beast of burden, and a mystical consummation that echoes that of Cleomedes, athletic hero as at one and the same time a model of humble cooperative social virtues, especially those based in the nuclear family unit, yet still as untouchable and inimitable as an Achilles. Now, for a comparison with what's coming, I want you to take note of the solid planted stance of these athletes, a convention of the so-called kouros figure that the Greeks adapted from Egyptian art. They are completely impersonal, all trace of individuality already effaced. In this rare and precious bronze from Delphi, we see the anonymous charioteer who won a 4-horse race for Polyzalus, tyrant of Gela, in 478 or 474 BCE. He's arguably our best example of the severe or early classical style, where the light twist of the body, slight cock of the head, just begin to suggest movement, rotation, flexibility, but modestly resist the fluid abandonment that we see, for instance, in Myron's famous discus thrower 30 years later. Arguably, this figure, in his calm, impersonal functionality, serves only to commemorate his boss, in much the same way as the perhaps 6 bronze horses that accompanied him in his original group. But then again, look at his cheeks, if you can. That light growth of the first beard, you can just discern there, marks him as an object of the homoerotic gaze. He's just a driver, but he invites our attention. By contrast, this guy, discovered in Motia, Sicily in 1979 and created maybe in the 470s BCE, maybe a little later, is a verified calendar model. And he's a driver nonetheless. At least that's the best way to explain his unique attire. The quality of the work is second to none, meaning it was expensive. Why then make the driver the center of attention? 2 options suggest themselves. 1, he was a rare member of the elite who dabbled in driving. This was not entirely unknown, and we have the name of at least one owner who drove his own chariot. Malcolm Bell has suggested that the Motia charioteer might be the son of a Sicilian tyrant driving for his father. The second option is that he was a non-elite driver who made enough money and by repeated victories accrued enough status to commission the statue to commemorate his own professional success. Whoever he is, the Motia charioteer demonstrates what his Delphi cousin only hints at: sports ability not only to break down social barriers, but to do so by dissolving the essential otherness and inimitability of the hero. Unlike the heroes of the Iliad, athletic heroes do invite comparison and emulation, and they assert the power of participation over that of spectacle, doing rather than viewing. I never became a Formula One driver myself, you'll be surprised to hear. But when I watched Tom Pidcock take Olympic gold in the mountain bike in the last Olympics, my impulse was not to put a poster on the wall, nor even to dedicate a statue, but rather to jump on my own mountain bike and, as the kids say, to send it down the Mackenzie River Trail or the Alpine Trail, two of Oregon's most exhilarating chariot tracks.